When Mr. Ayi, a very rich and influential man, was forced to marry a second wife because of the seeming barrenness of his first wife, he did not bargain for what he got. His second wife, Tina, took him into an unexpected life of an occultic sisterhood. By the time the coast was clear, Tina had unexpectedly given up the ghost. Let's dive in and hear what happened next. Mr. Ayi was a very rich and influential man. He had two wives. One was Celia and the other, Tina. Celia was the first one, but had no children in the early days. Mr. Ayi, against his own conviction, was, pushed by third parties to go and marry another woman called Tina. Celia was a well-groomed, respectful, and homely woman before and after the marriage. Tina, on the other hand, was a real street woman. She had been around town and was one of those women who ordinarily would love to remain in the streets and not in any man's house. Mr. Ayi and Celia were living peacefully when Ayi's mother came on a visit one time. Ayi's mother, Madam B, as they used to call her, was concerned that his son does not have a grandchild. She was a no-nonsense woman. She always wants to get her way in matters. Her visit this time was to specifically urge Mr. Ayi to take another wife if Celia was nothing but a barren. She even came with names of some specific girls she will want Mr. Ayi to marry if it becomes necessary. It was when she came that she realized that Mr. Ayi has already got another woman into the house. But she was not pleased at all with Tina as events continued to unfold. Celia herself was a very religious woman. She was a great believer in God. They have told her that for everything that happens to man, they should continue to glorify God. She had been told that even Sarah, at such advanced age, when told she would still bear a child, first laughed at the idea. She did not see herself bearing a child at that age. She was like, why are they making a mockery of her situation? Though a woman of great faith, she did not totally believe that the message was true. She therefore used her earthly way to settle the matter. So instead of allowing Abraham to go out of the way to get a child without her knowledge and approval, she decided to give Hagar, her house help, to Abraham to get a child. The affair eventually bore Abraham a child called Ishmael. She had been told that her faith must be strong, that the Lord did not create any woman to be specifically a barren. She had been told that if Sarah had held onto her faith strongly, maybe the ugly situation would not have arisen. Tina herself was not a woman of faith. She, however, did not take long before she conceived and bore the first child, a male, for Mr. Ayi. They named that child Junior. Tina, being the typical woman, did not feel safe in the house. She felt that Celia was a witch, and that was why she was not able to bear a child. She therefore began to plan against Celia. Her plan was to get rid of her life or make her run mad completely. In her world, there is no room for taking prisoners. She believed that she must be the overall madam of the house. Since she was the one that has got Mr. Ayi a child, she first started to work on Mr. Ayi. Tina had a circle of friends while she was in the streets of Lagos. The main agenda of these ones was to grab any man that comes their way by the balls, turn him against his family, milk him dry, and then release him when he becomes useless. Their motto was, "Take no prisoner." That is to say that you should not spare any man that comes your way. Any such man must be controlled and subdued and made to pay the maximum penalty to their God. They have a leader called Ronti Mama. Ronti Mama was a first-class city woman who had gone through the house of 6 men. All these men were half her age. Ronti Mama was about 60, but all the men she had dealt with were in their late 20s to early 30s. These men were well-to-do when she met them. But by the devilish power that her group acquired through a medicine man called Baba Super, she was able to dispossess them of their properties and send them away in penury. Most of them lost their lives after going through the ordeal. But the few of them that survived became a shadow of themselves. They were later to become useless, as the deity she serves was said to have taken away their glory. She virtually was leading a cult society whose main aim was to grab men by the jugular, make them dry, and send them to the great beyond. Those who survived became shadows of themselves. That was the group where Tina belongs. That was the treatment she wanted to give to Mr. Ayi. The problem with belonging to that group is that if you were able to perform, you become very rich and influential. But if you fail, you either give up the ghost or run mad. In most cases, the mental illness of those who fail was even more than those who give up the ghost. The situation was a kind of mission in which the soldier involved must neither fail nor surrender. The participant cannot later begin to backslide from the mission. There was a situation of one of their members called Kate. Kate was a member of the sisterhood for a number of years. She had received largesse and benefits from the sisterhood for a very long time. Through the efforts of the sisterhood, Kate was able to acquire a number of properties and a booming business in town. Since she joined the sisterhood, she had not really gone on any mission. Rather, she had continued to benefit from the sweat of other members. There had been pressure on her to go on one, but she had taken her time. Kate was well brought up in a very good Christian home and regrets joining the sisterhood in the first place. But her regrets were just too late. There is no going back, as she had understood most of their secrets. Not only that, she had benefited in very great measure from the missions of others. To allow her to go away, therefore, would amount to a sellout. Kate was eventually able to get a man who was very kind to her and took her in as his own daughter. The man was elderly and a man of faith. His name was Moses. Every night before going to bed, Moses will commit his night into the hands of God. Unfortunately for Kate, these were the times or the hours of attack. But Mr. Moses, the husband, used these specific periods of the day to pray against the evil machinations of any evil spouse, be they man or woman. He will say things like, "We are the children of the Most High God. The Lord did not give us a spirit of fear, but that of conquerors." that they, children of the Most High, wear a vest given to them by the words of God, and that with that they do not fear any evil. He will continually pronounce and renounce any evil or spiritual wife or husband, and call upon the Lord to destroy anyone with such evil tendencies. He continued to pronounce and evoke fire on any such power. He will usually claim that the Lord offers his children protection against any form of evil marriage, and that he and his family are under the protection of God. He often preaches to kids about how the Lord offers protection to his own people, that all they need to do is to call on the name of God and have faith, that very soon he will fight their battle and they will win any battle waged by their enemies, even without raising a finger to fight any physical battle. Eventually, the spiritual battle was too much for Kate, and she could not carry out her mission. When she reported to base that she could not carry out the mission because the man had too many protective agents, they responded and reminded her of the consequences. There is no surrender. The mission must be accomplished at any cost and at a particular date. The date for assignment soon expired and Kate had not done her job. She woke up one morning, began to confess of her evil intentions, tore her clothes, and wanted to run into the streets naked. She was overpowered by some neighbors. Since then, she has been in a mental home. Celia, on her own, had been calling on God to give her a child. She had read from the scriptures that no woman was created barren. She knew that her inability to get a child now was as a result of God testing her faith. She has heard that the Lord uses many things, including waiting, to test our patience. That at the Lord's appointed time, a child will surely come. Many times in the scriptures, she had been told to rejoice because the Lord will never forget his own, and she has never failed to have faith. Along the line, Rita had conceived again and had a second child. She has now become very disagreeable with Celia, especially with the type of prayers that Celia was offering in the house. She now does not see eye to eye with Celia. She was soon to fight with Madam B, and that one stopped visiting their house completely. Madam B had seen through her and does not just like her attitude. Instinct had told her that Rita was a devil incarnate and must not be trusted. Madam B knew that her son, Mr. Ayi, is under some influence. She had therefore approached a medicine man in their hometown to check her excesses. It was this medicine man that told Madam B that Rita was on an evil mission. She had already put Mr. Ayi in a spell, and that it is a matter of time before he succumbs to her evil powers. Madam B was asked to come and visit the medicine man. While coming, she should come with 2 live goats and 2 live cocks. With this, they will go to the wilderness to offer them to the gods as a form of sacrifice that will spoil the stranglehold Rita and her group have on Mr. Ayi. Meanwhile, under some influence, Mr. Ayi has begun to have some serious disagreement with Celia. But Celia was at that point already pregnant. She knew that Mr. Ayi was acting under influence, and she was not going to allow any individual to scatter her matrimonial home. She had married Mr. Ayi for a long time now and knew he was not a man of violence. They have since told her that things like this are beyond the physical and that she should take her petition before the Lord. And that was exactly what she did. While all this were going on, Celia gave birth to a boy and named him Peter. Believers have been told that in times of trouble, they should cry to the Lord. In times of joy, they should also give glory to the Lord. He is the author and finisher of life. That when the Israelites were in the wilderness, they did not do their calculations very well. They were eventually to run short of supply, no food, no water. They then called upon the Lord, and the Lord caused food and various supplies to rain on them in the desert. That was the proverbial manna from heaven. She also remembered that when they were leaving the land of Egypt, they got to a point and Pharaoh ordered his well-armed soldiers to go and bring them back. Obviously, it could have been some slaughter. At that point, the children of Israel were between two devils. On one side was the sea, and coming from the other side were a well-armed Egyptian army. The Lord came to their rescue. The sea was parted, and they walked through just like that. In Celia's mind, if God could do it for Sarah, rain food and supplies on the Israelites in the desert, part the Red Sea to enable them escape a heavily armed army, then the Lord would fight her own battle. While Celia was calling on the Lord and offering prayers, somehow something began to touch Mr. Ayi. He began to come to his senses again and began to warm up to Celia. Celia, seeing this, began to remember what her pastor said a long time ago, that the ways of God are not the same as the ways of man. Just have faith and the Lord will do your fighting for you. So she began to glorify God. Somehow she remembered again another biblical verse that says that the fact that you win a race does not make you the best. That certain unforeseen circumstances could have intervened without the knowledge of man, because life is not a straight line where outcomes are easily predicted. When Rita discovered that her hold on Mr. Ayi was being challenged, he decided to activate her plan B. In her desperation, she paid some criminals to kidnap Celia and her child and eliminate them. It happened that this was a criminal gang she was having some relationship with while on the streets of Lagos. Her action buttresses the saying that the heart of man is desperately wicked. No man knows what the other person has in mind, but only God. The leader of the gang she paid money to carry out the possible elimination was caught while on another operation. The police found some vital documents with him, which suggest that they planned to eliminate Celia and her child, and she was immediately arrested. The case was later charged to court. She was eventually sentenced to 10 years of prison term. 6 months into the term, she gave up the ghost as a result of some unknown ailment while in prison. Mr. Ayi and Celia were later to pull the children together and moved on with life. The moral of this story is that in life, challenges are bound to come. What challenges do you have? Are you looking for a job? We have seen situations where a person has been favored and offered employment over some other more qualified persons. Are you sick? Or did your medical report suggest a terminal disease? We have seen instances where doctors have told a patient with a particular disease that they will not live more than 6 months hence. The patient had looked at the report and had rejected it. 5 years down the line, the patient still continues to function to the amusement of the doctors. If you have listened to this story and you appreciate what we have said, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment on the comment section of this video. Thank you very much for being there.